that will allow us to experience eternal life on the way to everlasting life. And so don't labor for the things that's going to disappear. Labor for the things that will last a lifetime. But the other thing that he talks about when you get to verse 28, it says, they said, what shall we do that we might work the works of God? What's happening here is they're asking the question, how can we express the action? How can we work in such a way that continues the work, Rabbi Jesus, that you started? What can we do to complete the work, Jesus, that you have started? How might we be able to work the good works of God? How do we need to toil, and how do we take this task and treat it as an occupation in order that we may be effective to people who are willing to engage in with you, or be engaged with you, oh God, that the works that you are working in them are works that can come out of them and then work in the world. Greater is God who is in you than God who is in the world. I'm almost done. And so they asked this question, and Jesus says to them, this is the work of God, that you believe, that you have faith in the one who God has sent, Jesus the Christ, that we, in believing, understand that God has good credit. God has perfect credit. Not like my credit, like some of our credit. But God has good. Believe in the one who has sent the Christ, because he has perfect credit. You can trust and you can give your well-being over to the God who is our creator and maker, who has come to us through Jesus the Christ, who is a teacher, but overall is the Messiah who is sent from God. All you have to do is believe. But sometimes there are things that happen in our lives, and it disrupts our belief factor that is taking place in our lives. We had gotten some bad news about a family member, and it takes us off our game. But God is saying, lean first to the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness, and everything you need will be added to you. In other words, God says, I see you. I understand your pain. I see your struggle. I see your hurt. I see where you are, and I'm reaching out to give you a hand. I need you to reach back so I can pull you up out of the pits of hell that you're in. There was a true story. It was a young man, and the young man was born with baby in the arms, and the mother despised his father, and the baby looked so much like his dad. The man she despised. True story. I'm not making this up. That she put chlorine in a bottle and fed the bottle to the baby. Well, he, you can imagine, had complications, physical complications, biological complications. His face was contorted and disfigured. He turned to gang life, was running with the gang, and you can imagine at some point he got in trouble. Ended up in jail, did some prison time. While he was there, his grandmother came to visit, and she would, to see about him, to care about him, to pray for him, to pray with him. And while he was in there, he found God. But let me tell you how he found God. He was looking for everything in the Bible that he didn't like, to rip the pages out. But in order to find them, he had to read. And when he read, he found some stuff that he didn't know was in there. Stuff that spoke to his situation. Stuff that began to change his thinking and transform his heart and his life from the inside out. And one day the grandmother came and she said, your cousin is graduating from college and she wants you to come. And you can imagine that he was up on release. He went to her graduation, which was in a different state. When he got to her house, he knocked on the door. The door opened, Deacon Donna, And when the door opened, the person standing there was his mother. He didn't know who she was, but she knew who he was. She shrieked, ran into the house, ran further into the home. Naturally, he was inquisitive. Who was that woman? And they said, she is your mother. And he went into the house looking for her. He went into the house looking for her. When he found her, she was kneeling, Reverend Herring, on the side of her bed. And you would think, Gerard, something about to happen. But when he got to where his mother was, he kneeled down beside her. And he started praying with her. This story came out on a talk show. And they asked him on the talk show, they said, after everything your mother did to you, after all you went through with your disfigurement and things, did you ever forgive her? And the young man said, yeah, I forgave my mother for what she did to me. And the host said, how are you able to forgive something so tragic as such? And he said, because by not forgiving her, it's like slamming my hand in the door and wanting my mother to feel the pain. But at the end of the day, I'm only hurting myself. I just came to say we're going to go through our fair share of things, struggles, and issues, but we serve a God who is a forbearing God. We serve a God who acts in patience. We serve a God who gives us leniency sometimes. We serve a God that can multiply things from 5 to 100-fold. We serve a God who can make sure that the community is well taken care of. We serve a God who sees that you are stuck, but is not going to let you stay stuck. It's going to bring you a message of wisdom and knowledge that comes straight from the unadulterated heaven that we serve and that we are a part of. The reality is we're all going to lose out at some point, and sometimes we're going to lose money, we're going to lose family, we're going to lose friends, we're going to lose situations. But Jesus said the vines that do not produce fruit must be pruned and cut off so that the tree itself won't die. And so at the end of the day, there's some branches that God might be trying to prune from you as an act of leniency and an act of patience, so that he doesn't give us enough rope to hang ourselves, but instead we'll cut it off. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to hurt sometimes. But I want to tell you about the American bald eagle that goes through a 150-day process of plucking its own feathers